That's what's been making all of this sound, and I'm going to get my ass whipped right now. Oh my lord. And I'm dead already. Holy shit. Oh my god. Like, I don't even know what the parry button is. Bitch. Now. Ah! Damn! That XP I got, that was killing them bitches. Look at that, look at that. That was a good player too. Look at all those fucking medallions that bitch had. That means that they went through and they was killing all of the bosses all around the map. And I was like, no, because you didn't beat the big boss. You didn't beat the baddest boss, bitch. You did not do that shit. I did that shit. Okay? I literally said... Come out, bitch. Come out. Bitch! Should have gotten out the fucking truck! For shame, because... I can't. I am horrified right now. Ready? Oh, shit! Ah! No, I'm stuck in a corner. No, get me out of this. I
could see the car, but there was no sight of the driver.
Let's take a moment. I need a fucking moment. Oh my god. This is why I only do like one episode per stream, because I can't. I am horrified right now. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't see because of this tree. Oh. Now, if this was Resident Evil 4 and that first time you jump out that house, I'd be dead. I'd already be needing that green herb. Wait, they're coming from over here. Oh. Why? I didn't know there was a hole there. I didn't know there was a hole there. Okay. I wish there was some sort of map or compass. Like, literally, I have no idea where I'm going. Did I get stuff from breaking up anything? Ready? Oh shit! Ah! No, I'm stuck in a corner. No, get me out of this. Let's not do that again. The people that are following you for a reason. They support you through the mess ups, through the messiness. Like, just go and just stream, just get it, do it. Like, stop being so anxious about it. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys have been doing. Um, and I appreciate you bringing over your community over here. The fucking shit out of me. I hate you so much right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, because it plays this like Xena yell anytime somebody comes in so that I actually remember to look at chat. And this game is like terrifying me. I've like had enough of it at this point. I'm like just trying to get to the end of this chapter so I can be gone. I'm gonna be really fucking annoyed.
Aw, Droney needs a break.
Dude, I have never been so fucking annoyed in my life. Like, I'm just gonna say this right now, and I don't give a fuck. I do not like her traverse. It doesn't even feel like she's moving. Like, and I still killed you, bitch! Oh my god, you really thought you was gonna have me with that one, honey, babushka. Oh, come on, are we doing? Oh no, is my person about to die? Oh! I don't even know what to do now, oh my god!
Tonight's beverage will be all.
Oh my god, you know what I just realized? I don't have any sounds for when I actually win something.
It's an honor.
Is that me? Oh my lord. Bitch. What were you even trying? You were standing there for mad long, just letting me slice you up, bitch. Like a piece of chicken that you are. Oh, bitch. You saw how fucking long it was taking for me to reload? Like, damn. They wasn't even giving me a chance. I'm over here hopping around like a fucking bunny rabbit and this bitch is not reloading. It has such memories in my brain. Like between the hospital, it's freaky as fuck. The end when you're kind of just running in darkness for a hot minute, like absolute darkness. Oh. Oh my god. Let's try a combo while that's happening. Oh fuck, I missed that. Yes! Oh. That makes oh. No. Nope. Ooh. Not the fucking birds. Of course, birds will attack me once you got in here. Hello. How are we doing right now? Hi, Michael. How are you? Hold on. Let me switch this over. How are we doing today? I think the AARP ad is because of me. So, yeah. It was either going to be AARP, Prevagen, Hims. Who knows at this point? I'm so glad you came. I saw that you came like right at the end of my last stream, which I totally appreciate. I'm sad you missed it, but you're here now and that's all that matters. So I hope you're doing well on this lovely Wednesday. Let me know how your day went. If you had anything special happen today. Yeah, it's hump day. And as I usually like to come on here on hump days, and just get the message out there that it's another hump day where I have not humped anything. And that's just my life. But I hope everybody's doing well. I'm the Inked Adventure. I'm an LGBTQ plus variety streamer, MCU stan, Lady Gaga fan, Aries, the only sign that matters. And yes, we are here today. It was good. Took a mental day today, and spent it with my dog and got stoned. Very nice. What kind of dog do you have? I work today. I did not take the day off, because that's just not a thing at my job right now. I worked all day from home. So, that's the silver lining of having a job, is that I get to work from home. A Maltese, his name is Ding Dong. Wow. Amazing. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix this. Because I realize that I won't be able to hear my sounds if I don't do this. That's so cute. I love dogs. Like, if I could, I would have like every type of dog known to man. LOL, like the doorbell, naughty naughty. I don't know what that means. Sorry, my two brain cells right now, they're not rubbing together. Yeah, so I was planning on streaming earlier. But I took my dog for a nice long walk, and then I took an energy drink. I was feeling the energy, and I was like, okay, let me get moving. So I moved a little bit, did my little Shakira Beyonce moves, whatever. And then I was like, let me watch X-Men before someone spoils it for me. I don't know if you're into X-Men, Michael. Also, let me know if I'm saying your name correctly, because I've heard other people call you Michael, and so I'm not sure if that's the way to say your name. Please let me know if I'm saying it correctly. So I watched X-Men, and it was amazing. I had to watch it because, yes, it's Michael. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. And also, what are your pronouns? Let me not suggest what your pronouns are. What are your pronouns? Just so that I can also refer to you that way, in the correct way. This damn pop-up. Gosh darn it. So last week was a really big episode in X-Men, and I'm so lucky it did not get spoiled because I had to catch up on the whole season. Caught up on the whole season, then everybody was talking about this episode, and I was like, I need to catch up real fast and watch it. So I watched X-Men. It was an amazing episode. I'm not going to spoil it if you're going to watch it, if anybody's going to watch it at some point. It is very, very nostalgic, and it brings back one of my favorite storylines. You did see the most recent. I don't even know if anybody else is here, but it was very nostalgic. The Shi'ar Empire storyline, the Phoenix. Hello. The Phoenix Saga is my all-time favorite storyline. He, him. Okay, thank you for that. And so seeing them again and seeing all of the characters, because I forgot, like the Gladiator, I totally forgot about that character until I saw him again, and I was like, ooh. And then seeing some of the other characters that happened, I'm not going to say who they were. I was very, very surprised. Let's pin this. So that was good. And then I was going to stream, and then I saw another streamer on, and I got totally sucked into that stream. But also, as I was walking my dog, I heard a song, and I was like, oh, I want to try to do an overlay for this. And then I tried to start doing it, and I was like, no, I'm not liking the way this is looking. And then I was like, oh, let me look for this. So then I just got sucked down a rabbit hole. There we go. I just got sucked down a rabbit hole of green screen videos. Yes. So I added 2 videos here, but I'm gonna switch how they are right now. Because right now they're like commands for people watching, but they one of them can be a command for the people watching, but the other command needs to be mine. So I need to figure out how to add that to my stream deck. It's a whole nother story. So I'll actually will show you them right now. So let's do this one. Oh wait, hold on 1 second. Because I think that I disabled one of them, so I'm gonna re-enable it. There we go. There we go. Let's do this one first because this is like just okay. It's whatever. See if it pops up. I don't know. I just saw it and I thought it was cool. Also, I think it's Freddy Krueger, who I love Freddy Krueger. So I'm gonna figure out if I'm gonna keep that. And then I found this one, which is gonna be for me. Yes, it does, right? I thought like there was something about the way that his the hat a little bit, but also it looked like he had the iconic hand. So yeah. So I'm working on it. I'm working on like trying to create all these overlays. I'm gonna switch this to you for a second just so you can see. I found this really cool transition. It is very Phoenix. I have this thing with like flames, you know, like when you see the people just walking in slow-mo with the flames behind them, or like I don't know. I'm just in love with that imagery. Where's my thing? Hold on. I'm gonna show you. This was a I don't know what I'm doing. This is a transition that I found. But I need to figure out how to fix it because it doesn't when you with transition videos, it doesn't let you do a green screen thing. So we're gonna transition to the next screen and then I'm gonna bring it back to this one. See, it does a big green screen, but I love all of that imagery there it does there, and then it does that. So I gotta fix that. And take that out. Hold on. Let me just take that out. There we go. So yeah, I just went down a super long rabbit hole of green screen videos and yeah, I need to find something better than what I have now. Like what I have now is okay, but it's just not fully what I want. Yeah, so I went down that rabbit hole of green screens, and anytime I'm looking to try to do something with the stream and how to learn how to do it, it literally takes me hours before I figure out what to do. And then most of the time I don't ever figure out what I'm doing. Yeah. Oh, I love how my connection went from stable or excellent to unstable. We love that for me. Okay, let's get into the game. So today we're playing Little Nightmares 2. Because I kind of want to get into another game where it's like there's an actual endpoint and it's not just necessarily like a battle royale type game. So I want to get into a little game with a story. I played the last game. If you haven't played the last game, really cool game, very creepy, lovely little puzzles. Don't ask me what the ending meant because I literally have no idea what the ending means at all. Yeah, but it was a cool ending. And if you have played this, I always recommend, if you haven't played Inside, play Inside because it's amazing. Yes, so let's get into the game. There we go. There we go. Oops. Do you have any cool plans for the weekend, Michael? I will actually, so as you saw on my title of my screen, yesterday was my birthday. I did absolutely nothing. No, there's, let me, I'm gonna might go on a little bit of a rant, but I'm gonna try not to. I'm not expecting anything because I'm like at the point where I'm just so frustrated with this like culture that we said of like, oh, this is the Easter egg because this is the Easter egg for this story, or this is the Easter egg for this story, so this is about to happen, or this is about to happen. Because I'm like, can we have a little bit of like surprise? Can we just like get a project without somebody like trying to fully explain what they think the whole story is going to be? Like, what happened to that? Like, why can't I be surprised? I'm going to my parents' cousin's baby party. Nice. Very nice. Thank you for the birthday wish. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I don't even know, like, I actually didn't know that what happened in the last episode is a storyline from the comics. I have not read that for a few reasons. So I have both of the comic book apps, right? I have the Marvel Unlimited and I have the DC Infinite. The Marvel app, I'm gonna say, is ass. It completely sucks compared to the DC one, because the DC one, like, everything is like very in chronological order, whereas the Marvel one, like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm like trying to read a story and I basically have to research how to read stories in order, so I never read anything from there because it's so annoying. Yeah, so anyway, so what happened in the last story is like some part of the comic books, so I don't know like what they're leading up to, if that's any part of the comic books. But I have no, like, I want to say I have no stakes. Like, whatever story wherever they go, I'm down because it's been really good so far. But I don't need it to be like, oh, this happened and this was part of this story, so now this is the storyline that they're going with. I don't need to know that, and I don't need to be confined to that idea. Whatever storyline they go with is the storyline they go with. Like, I just found out that the storyline that they did with Jean Grey was 3 different storylines combined into one. Yeah, like different adaptations. I'm okay with the blending or just like staying true to the comics, but I don't need like all these things where everybody's like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, this is what's gonna happen. Like, just let it happen. Like, why do I need to know what's about to happen in the movie before I see it? What's the point of me seeing the movie then? And also, like, what is the point of you saying that? Like, are you getting street cred out of that? Like, nobody's gonna remember that you got that right. Who cares? It's like, yeah, it's a killjoy. That's why I've stopped doing it, like looking at things like that for a while, especially like now, like with the whole like Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Like, I haven't been watching any Easter eggs or any like, oh, behind the scenes like footage or pictures that they're capturing. I'm just like, I just want to go in fully surprised. I don't even watch, like, I'll watch the first. So Marvel is also part of the problem. I'll watch the first trailer that they come out for any new movie, but then I won't watch any of the other trailers because I feel like they put too much information in there, and I'm just like you're giving away surprises that I don't want to know about until I watch the movie. Like, you're Marvel, I'm already gonna go to the movie. I just need one trailer. I don't need 15 trailers. I don't need another 3-minute trailer 2 weeks before it comes out. Just give me the one trailer and let it come out. So yeah, that was my little Marvel rant. Also, if you keep hearing that dinging sound, that is me. I am sorry. That is my light trying to connect to my computer. So I need to figure out how to make that shut up. There we go. Until it's barely visible. Wrong way. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay, that is not a spoiler warning. Oh, I forgot to do... I'm not gonna worry about it now. Keep forgetting to turn the closed caption on. Let's see if this works. How old is the baby turning, Michael? New game, people. This is a new game. Also, I'm a little scared about playing this game because I don't want to become a horror game person. I like horror games, but that's not going to be my shtick. Oh, it's a little guy. Hold on 1 second. I'm actually going to turn my light on so it's scarier. Huh? Oh, actually, I can show you this. My partner is Chinese, so it's a Chinese cultural tradition of 100 days old. I don't know the details of it, but it's food, so I'm for it. Oh, that's nice. I've never even heard of that. Actually, I'm gonna show you this too. This is what I just dropped. My lovely, you can't tell, but it's like holographic. My lovely Magneto coaster. I think the light is on it too much. But yeah. You have to travel far. I did not draw that. I could barely draw a stick figure. I did not draw that. I found it at NYC Comic Con, and they had so many. They had like a Rogue one. Rogue is like literally all the females are my favorite. No, I really wish I could draw. All the females are my favorite. Rogue, Jean Grey, and Storm. My absolute favorites. But specifically, I want to say Rogue. Like whenever I'm reading a comic book and she's in it, I have that voice in my head. It's just what it is. Oh wait, is this like 2D? What is that? Is that a squid? No? Okay, it's just a dead end. Can I go all the way up? I'm pretty sure I can't go any further up. I'm gonna keep going, see if something crazy happens. No. This is very frustrating right now because that pop-up keeps coming and I keep missing it. Storm has always been my favorite, but I relate to Rogue. Yes. I would say Storm is my second favorite because, like I mentioned, the whole imagery of like fire behind me. It kind of goes the same way with like lightning. Just have like, you know, in this last episode, I think, no, it wasn't only in this last episode. I think it was more noticeable in this last episode with the white eyes. And so that's like a big like imagery thing for me. Oh, we are going into the... No. R2. There we go. Took really long for that to pop up there. How do I... Okay, this is like taking... Holy shit. Good evening from LA. Happy to see someone playing Little Nightmares 2. It's a favorite of mine. Hi, Dora. How are you today? All the way from LA. Oh my god, I'm finally reaching the other side of the country. I played Little Nightmares maybe last year, 2 years ago. It's amazing. It's a really cool game. So I was like, this is literally, if you played one and you want to play this, is I think it's only $10 right now. And I was like, yes. How are you doing today? Do you anything fun? Do you have any fun plans for the weekend? Did you play the DLC? I did not. Don't judge me. I did not play the DLC because I think it has like 3 or 4 of them, and I probably should play it because the ending, I was just like, what is happening right now? I didn't really understand the ending, but I'm gonna play them at some point. Just work, nothing exciting. The DLC is quite good. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh god, something's hanging in there. It's literally, I think they're on my wish list, so it's on my radar. Especially like, because this was... I forgot why I played the first game. Oh god, do I need to like hang on this? Ooh. I forgot why I played the first game or how I got it. Oops. But I think I played in like 2 to 3 sittings. It's so good. This to me is like very much like I shouldn't say it's very much. It's in the same family or vein as Inside, which I think is amazing. What is happening? Am I just like... Oh, wait, can I pick you up? Can I throw you? Oh, I can't throw you. But I can't jump with you. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. No. Can I throw it straight up? No. How many of these are there? There's 3 of them. Can I can't climb up. Oh my god, this is giving me like Limbo PTSD because I really want to do Limbo, but I cannot make sure to grab. I keep trying to grab that, but maybe I'm not high enough. Oh, wait. Wait, can I keep going or am I supposed to do something with that? I bet you that was absolutely nothing and I'm over here trying to make it the biggest thing. Okay, yeah, thank you. So I will literally be here trying to make that work. Okay, there we go. Are you gonna get the oh, is this a trap? As I walked right into it. I knew it was a trap, but I really thought I was gonna be able to jump fast enough. Are you gonna get the third game? I'm quite excited for it. There we go. Is this another trap? You look like a trap, so I wasn't touching you. Oh, I think I wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Wait, so I can probably, oops, drag this over. Okay, is this gonna be one of those games where there's a bunch of things that literally don't do anything and I'm just gonna keep thinking that they do anything? 'Cause that looks like it's something, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing. The 20 minutes or so of alpha gameplay was great. Oh, I didn't even know they had some sort of demo or gameplay of it. I need to check it out. I'm really bad at finding out about alphas and betas. I usually find out from like certain streamers. Otherwise, I know nothing about it. Oh shit! No, I'm trying to. No, I really was trying. I was really trying.
Emotional damage.
There we go. Just keep running. There we go. Okay. Is there anything over here? This looks like there's... Wait. Pretty sure this is just two different ways to go the same thing. But I'm gonna double check. Oop. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's see if I can actually go this way. No, I need to go... Oops. I do need to go the way I just came. Oops. Okay, we're gonna go up. Oh, this damn thing won't go away. Hey guys, there's an ad starting in... Oops. Don't watch what I just did. This is a tutorial on how not to play this game. There's an ad starting in a minute, so just be prepared. I actually can stop the game so that we don't have to miss anything. So I will do that in 1 minute. Oh, there's an ad break right now. Hold on 1 second. Holy shit. Nami almost fucking dying again. Because you see how she's like not like floating back up? She's just like swinging and then she just like... Like, girl, that's not what I said to do. But thank you so much for the raid. Thank you everybody that's hanging, trying to make my little dream come true here. I really appreciate it. Let's change it. Oh, nope. Come out. Okay, we are back. Sorry, I'm still getting used to how to do these ad breaks. This is like my second stream after becoming an affiliate, so yeah. And the first game I decided to choose was a what is it called? Like a battle royale game, Foam Stars. There we go. Yeah, so it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. There was something I was gonna say. What other games are you playing, Adora? Ooh. This looks dangerous. Don't do that. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, snap. FYI, in this game, there are two types of collectibles. One are shadow kits. Oops. Oh, no, don't do that. One of Shadow Kids called glitching remains. There are 18 in the game. Collect all to unlock an extended ending. I'm near one of them right now. At the bottom of the shadows where I just was. Climb back down. Okay, let's climb back down. Ooh. This is like totally in my way. Green right. Oh, there was a walkway over here. Oh, holy shit, that scared the hell out of me. Oh. Oh my god, that creepy thing again. Is there anything else on here? Probably not. I pulled that shovel? No. Thank you for that, Adora. I appreciate that. I think during the last one when you had to, I think it was the lights. Yeah, it looks like I need to be a little bit more explored. I don't even know what the word is. I need to explore a little bit more in this game. It looks a little bit more open than the last one. This is so creepy. Is that bird gonna attack me? Oh, yes, please run. What are you? No? Nothing? Okay. Oh. That's a trap that somebody went through already. That's too high. Can I pull this? No. The other type of collectible are hats. Those are pretty cool because you can wear them, plus you need some for specific achievements. Oh. Okay. Oh, maybe that's what I need the shoes for. What was that? No? Okay. Nope. There we go. Oh, look at me. Look at my two brain cells rubbing together. No, because I was like being pretty close to like going past that multiple times. I was like trying to literally pull on the rope to re-engage what I thought was the trap.
Back rolls.
I'm gonna just let you know that the sound scared the hell out of me, which is totally fine because I'm so used to only one person coming in and playing one sound all the time, scaring the shit out of me every single time. That looks like another trap. Oh, there's a bunch of traps here. Okay. Okay. Oh, you thought he was gonna get me. Can I pull this? Holy shit. Okay. Scare the shit out of me. Oh, feel free to do it all you want. Listen, even my sound that happens when a new chatter comes in scares the shit out of me. Every single thing scares the shit out of me. That's why me constantly playing horror games on here, I don't understand why I'm doing that. Behind me. Oh, is it under this? I see, I was not gonna see that. Oh, get him. This is like bringing back memories of him eating the rats. Or I think they were rats. Ooh. I saw that at the last minute. I'm gonna call that one a death by chat. Do you plan to play Dead Island 2, the new DLC drop today? I have never played Dead Island. I know the DLC dropped today because two streamers that I watch all the time, they streamed it together. It looked really cool because it had like the clowns. It was like, it was weird. It looks cool, but I haven't. I don't know. I don't have necessarily plans to play it yet. I'm not. What is the word I'm looking for? I'm definitely willing to try it, but I just feel like I have so many games on my thing before I get to there. Oh, in the original game, that female character was named Six. This character's name is Mono, and is identified as male. Oh, that is good to know. I didn't remember. Yeah, I didn't remember their name in the first one. Per the game description. Okay, so this is the Mono, male. I think that. Okay, there we go. Oh, Adora, I did not ask you. First, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, but if you would like to tell me a pronoun so that I can address you correctly as well. In the little Nightmare 3D characters, low and alone. I think I saw alone. I didn't remember the alone part. I feel like I see traps. This is creepy as fuck. Adora is fine. She, her. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, no. Uh-oh, something. This is too quiet. Adora, since you know so much about this, do the DLCs for the first one explain what is happening, have any relation to what is happening now? Or do I not necessarily need to know about what happens in those DLCs? No, okay. Anything over here besides a dirty ass toilet? Oh, I was coming over here just to check the back area, but I also probably cannot get into the door that way, so. The extended ending of this game explains its connection to the original, though. Okay. That is good to know. Wait, does this move? I mean, I don't want to pull it anyway. Oh, no. What is about to come out? What is about to happen right now? Ooh. What are you doing? Probably can't jump. Oh, I can do that. Oh. Yeah, trophy. Yummy. What's in the fridge? Exactly. But does it open? Or just lets me hang on it? Oh, there we go. Okay. There was something else over here I wanted to look at. Okay. See, I have not looked. I would recommend exploring upstairs first. This level before going downstairs. Okay. I did not look at what Oh, this is like really open. That looks dangerous. I didn't like it what the trophies are because I just forgot to. Okay, I'm gonna definitely need. Oh, that was the hat that you were talking about. Oh, I'm like just like looking at it, I'm like, it's a hat. It's cool, just a hat sitting there. Because sometimes like I feel like I need to be like looking at the trophies because I'll be like really close to getting a platinum and not realizing it only because I didn't do one thing that was like in the middle of the game. If you put it on and stand in the light, look up, you can see your little face. Oh, let's do that. Well, actually, I need to figure out how to put it on. No. Hats. Let's put on the little beaver hat. Equip. Okay. Oh, this way. Oh, look at my little alien face. That looks like the Grey Hill incident alien. Let me put the other hat back on. I don't know why, I just like something so odd about this hat that I'm just like in love with it. Or not the hat, but just the paper bag over the face. Okay, so I can't get in here yet. Can I go in there? No. Oh, that's downstairs. Okay. Not where we want to go. How shall I get upstairs? Oh. Is there another like little hole over here? No. Oh, got it. There's not an actual upstairs. You just meant on this level so that I could get the hat. I see you. I got it. We got it. Ooh, no. Stay open. Stay open. Stop glitching. There we go. Oh. Oh. Wait. Oh, the axe, maybe. Can I pull you out? Oh, I can't pull you anymore. Let's check what this other room has. Oh, can I throw this ball? That's probably not the best way to break down that wall. Yeah. Okay. Let's go see what's in this other room. Oh, there's another axe. Perfect. Oh, look at this little thing dragging it around like that. Oh, pick it up. Can I get in there now? Okay. Drop that. Let's see what this. Oh. Ooh. Oops, that was dumb. Hold on. No? Okay. I feel like something would have been hidden up there. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a little Stephen King shining moment. What's that yarn? Can I take that ball of yarn? Is that gonna make him like maybe play with me? I don't think I can go up the stairs with this though. I'm gonna try that one more time. I'm pretty sure I don't need it though. I don't know why it's there though. Okay, I'm gonna go. Let's just go. Oh. What is that? Please don't. Oh. Wait. Oh, are they dead? Okay. Yeah, don't see me. I'm not here. Oh. Go up. Can I pick that up? No. Oh my god. Dinner is very awkward. Ooh. Oh. What's about to happen? What did you do? Oh, now you want my help. What is that? Oh god, I already can't. Alright, I'm guessing we're gonna have to come back down here at some point. Literally. They've been around the block. I'm like scared, yeah. Because we haven't seen whatever that, like, that was the first time that we're hearing that something is in the house besides this little guy. So that's creepy. No, I need to move it. Come on. There we go. Oh, the key is there. Amazing. Okay, so there is a crank here. And there's another room over here. Oh, yes, you can wait. There you go. Wait. There we go. Let's go down the little plank. Shit. Am I gonna name my friend? I've seen streamers name them. Calvin, Shaggy, Maury, and many others. Let's name him. Listen, this makes the most sense. I need to first off I need to sit up. We're gonna name him Stereo. And hopefully I remember that because I probably won't. Oh fuck my life. Yeah, let's name him Stereo. See if there's anything else in this room. Oh, a broken mirror, no. Oop, that's just scared the shit out of me. Well, looks like grandma's seen better days, exactly. Oh, God. Not her whole arm coming off. Where did that go? Oh, it's over here. I'm over here still trying to pull her shoulder. Oh my God. Poor grandma. Okay. Damn, we didn't need to fall like that. Ooh, okay. Finally doing something. Wait, do I need to help you? Wait. Do I need to pull it with you on the same side? What's happening? There we go. Oh. It's not what I thought was gonna happen, but okay. There we go. Got the key. Okay, don't need to do that anymore. Okay, do you need to push me? Do you need to go up there? Can I just climb? Oh no, I need to pull this out. There we go. That was the thing it took me a little while to figure out in the last game is the pulling out of the drawers. Massive quality of life upgrade from the original game is the magic key pocket. Oh. It took me so long to figure out some of the puzzles because there we go. Because of how you had to maneuver with that key. There was like this one puzzle with I want to say it was the elevator. Oh my God, I was doing that forever. Okay, why is that sound not happening anymore? Where is it? Okay, it's weird. Oh, he's out here somewhere. Where it is. Shadow alerts. Okay, let's look around. Okay, not over here. Wait, can I go past this side of the door? No, so I'm gonna check behind that building. I feel like well, I wouldn't be able to see behind the building, but let's check. Oh, the outhouse. Can I even get in there? Oops. I messed up. Do it again. See, I would not have thought that that was something that I can grab onto. Oh, fuck. Gosh darn it. Bootsy time is best time. I think that's enough to get over there. I definitely don't like that sound. Oh, fuck my life. Like, the people that come up with these character designs, just be real quiet, don't get caught. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Run. Oh my god, I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna get caught. Oh, I was nowhere near that. Oh, was I supposed? Oh, I'm supposed to hide behind the boxes. Let me follow this little guy. Oh my god, okay. I'm gonna... Wait, can he see me? No, don't see me. Oh, this guy looks fucking creepy as fuck. Fuck. Okay, where do you want to go? That was giving me a little PTSD from the last horror game I played. I'm like still in the middle of the short message, which if you play that, it's creepy fucking. That was stupid. That was stupid. Okay, let's... Oh, there's an ad break. Hold on 1 second. Go to my... Be right. The fucking shit out of me. I hate you so much right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, because it plays this like Xena yell anytime somebody comes in so that I actually remember to look at chat. And this game is like terrifying me. I've like had enough of it at this point. I'm like just trying to get to the end of this chapter so I can, oh, be gone. Nope. No! How did, what the fuck? That's what I get for trying to go around. Give me my damn ability already, son. Dude, and this dude over here fucking duck walking. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that's why I've been playing duos. And I'm over here getting spit roasted. I'm getting spit roasted. Okay, and we're back. This thing is supposed to tell me when I have ads, and I feel like it's not. Okay, I need to just stop moving when he's pointing at me. Radovan Karadzic became the notorious leader of the Bosnian Serbs in 1992, a role that would later lead to his conviction for war crimes. Wow, Frosty Tools, thank you for that. Let me stay in the grass. I think I need to run to that hole. Oh, there we go. There we go. Run. Oh. Oh no. Is he digging holes behind me? Is this like the trolls? Not Mono giving me the hand. Oh, this looks so good. Oh, he's gonna be above me, isn't he? That looks like a really big. Oh, there we go. I almost did not try to pull on that. Oh, we can hold hands. Wait, what are you doing? I'll press triangle to call. Is he gonna catch me if I jump across? Oop. Oh my gosh. Okay. Come on, Mono and Stereo, get this together. Let me see. No, there's no way for me to hold on that long. Okay. Triangle. Ooh. I was just trying to see if I could jump on that log. I guess Mono and Stereo really don't like each other. That is so frustrating. I'm trying to think. Maybe I need to turn off my my Bluetooth next time. Okay, there we go. Okay. Ad alert, okay. Oh, there we go. Oops. I have to get on top of you. There we go. That sounded so creepy. Okay. What is that? Oh, hide behind this box. Oh. Oh shit, run. Oh no, am I gonna die? No, 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 let me get up to that box. Let me get inside the building. Oh my god, run. Get me up there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh shit, I'm like not using the sprint button. Oh, hide, hide, hide in there, hide. Holy shit. Oh wow, you just robbed a dead child, no hesitation. Oh my god. Oh, this water is so disgusting. Oh. Gonna hang up here. Oh. That's disgusting. Okay. Nope. Damn. Damage! I should hide behind this tree stump this next time and not try to go that route. Is he gonna keep shooting at me? Okay. Okay, let's figure out my timing. Okay. Let's figure this out. Oh my god. I think that maybe he could see me even if I'm going underneath. Maybe I should just try swimming to it. I wish it was some sort of meter that told me how. Ooh. Fuck. This dude is literally saying. Oh shit. Okay, we got there. Oh shit. Push. Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna go through it. Oh, that sound is so gross. Okay, let's wait for him to go by. The villains in this game are— oh, don't do that. Let's climb up. Up, 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 up. Fucking shit. Also, the last game I played had freaking crows in it too, which was scary as shit. Okay, get inside, get inside, get inside.
Run.
Can I shoot it? Oh shit. My dog just scared the shit out of me. Because he's over here and he just like, he heard me jump and he's like, what are you doing? Oh my god. That was intense. I don't think I made it more intense by playing that music or that sound. I have a feeling though that that guy is like not dead. Okay. Sail across the water. To wherever we're going with no food. This is not planned well. It's eerily calming though, this music. Even though I'm in this weird ass situation. Okay, maybe the hunter is not gonna come back because we're going pretty far. Yeah, exactly. I'm also not sure. Well, I mean, they're probably not live, but I'm like, probably should be getting electrocuted at this moment. I mean, there is a buzzing sound like something is still live somewhere around here. Also, the fact that this door is just moving in a straight line without any sort of manipulation of direction. What is that sound? Wow, that was probably like the prologue of this game. Are the buildings fucking moving? What the fuck? There's something falling out of the windows of these moving buildings. What the fuck? I love the scene haunting with the fog and the moving buildings, but also pretty somehow. Exactly. I think it's the music that makes it kind of pretty because it's kind of calming music besides whatever that like rumbling is. It always amazes me when shadow alert, okay. Amazes me how are you supposed to be following me? Oh, there we go. Right by that TV. Or like where do people come up with these ideas? It amazes me. Oh yeah, trophy. Yeah, that was like a pretty good thing that they did last time when you would be like in these really like close quarters in these little tunnels digging through or not digging through but like crawling through, and then all of a sudden you'd be in this like really expansive space where you just see you walking up these like massive set of stairs and just the camera angle going in and out. Like right now it's like a nice like very cinematographic shot. Oh, another trophy, yes. To this like very close up shot. No, absolutely not. Because they could have been safe with this game where you see this part where it goes out and then it goes back in. They could have either just left it all the way out or they could have left it all the way in. So that's nice that they did that. Wow. 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 Okay. I was like, is he gonna follow me in or do I have to open the door? Just also all the like the detail they put into this, like whoever thought of just having empty um pieces of clothing just sitting in seats. Like you wouldn't think necessarily that it's creepy, but it's fucking creepy because you're like, where are the bodies that were once in there? Okay. Why is there so many TVs? Okay. Wait, are you gonna... There we go. Oh, how do I get you? Uh... Okay, let's look. Hi. Oop. Let's not do that. I really thought I was gonna get on that back beam there. I mean, I don't even know what. Let me see. Oh, I'm supposed to kick it, not jump on it. I'm coming. Calm down. God, people nowadays have no sense of patience. Let's go get him first, I guess. Okay, here we go. I'm really scared about what I'm about to do. Push. There we go. Oh my god, don't fall on him. Okay, so that was the right choice to get him first, and now I can go upstairs and hopefully he can get me. Are we gonna do the jump thing again? That worked so well the last time. Oop.
Emotional damage.
Exactly. The crunch of a little baby. Oh, this is why. There we go. The fact that Stereo is so trusting of Mono walking around with this paper bag on his head. Astonishing. Oh, there we go. No, that was where he jumped on to get up here, so I don't need to do that. Let's go across the beam. Oh, yeah. Oop. My dog just scared the shit out of me again. These bodies hanging from the top. Hanging from the top is giving me very much control. Oh, can I just walk across? Wait, do I need to... Oh. Okay. Oh, the door from the beginning. Oh, this sound is weird. It sounds like I'm underwater. And it looks like I'm walking underwater. How did Stereo get with us? Hmm. Interesting. No. There we go. No, you're not gonna lift me up? No? Are we supposed to pull it? Oh, there we go. I see a hole behind there. They're here. Who's here? Who's here, Michael? What's happening? What is happening right now? Who is here? Oh, see that? Unnecessary. That big old eye. Congrats on beating the wilderness. Welcome to the fresh new hell, the school. Shadow and Hat Alert. Oh, reference a Poltergeist movie line with the TV. Oh, got it. Down here in the courtyard. Don't go up yet. Okay, a hat or a glitch. Let's see. Oh, see. I would not have thought that I can come over here. Oh, what does that eye mean? No? Keep looking around for a minute. Maybe it's in the trash can. Oh, he's right in front of me. Literally. It helps with the hat to look at the hat menu to see the outlines of the items. You don't have it, then you can keep an eye out for the shape. Got it. Let's see. So there's a hat and a glitch here. Ooh, my stomach is killing me. Let me tell you, I now find the hat. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I can do puzzles. Let's look around. No. No. Okay, let's look at a different part of the playground. Oh yeah, we can move out a bit. Okay. Wait, okay, I probably have to climb that rope, so let's check the front of the house. Oh, is that it right there? What are you? What art thou? Wait, can you lift me up there? Maybe I need to climb up the other way through the front of this. There we go. Oh. There we go. Thank you for that, Adora. Just let me tell you, if I didn't know about the stuff, you put that hat on and run through the goal. Let's do that. Let's actually even see what the hat is, because I could not tell what that was. Oh, that's creepy. Oh, do I have to actually run? Is it this goal or the other goal? Oh, there we go. Oh, referee. Wow. See, I'm currently doing a game that I'm playing that I'm not doing on well, I'm not really. I do it like every now and then on stream. Is Power Wash Simulator, and I'm literally, because I was like, they're like, oh, it's like an easy platinum, but it's actually not, because you need to like look at a guide to understand what you need to do, because there's, depending on what you're cleaning, you have to clean certain things first or certain things last, otherwise you don't get the trophy. And it's like, the one of the trophies is like you have to clean this whole house, and there's a gnome at the top of the house, and you have to clean, I think you have to clean the whole house while that gnome is still there, but obviously you need to clean under it, so you just like need to figure out how to do it. There's like one where like you get scaffolding and ladders in the game to clean higher areas, and there's one where it's like you have to clean this whole level without using the scaffolding, and it's like, how am I gonna know that without looking at a trophy guide? Why is that smoking like that? Oh, why are all these people's eyes cut out like that? Let's see what you do. Oh. That's fucking creepy. Why would I want the lights off? Oh, there's an ad break. I will be right back. Ooh, sorry. Oh, now we bounce into each other. Oh! Oh, look at that butt angle. But he ain't got no butt. He ain't got no butt. Enemy. And so I was like, I just need to let people help. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. I'm so close. Bitch out here edging. I mean, at least somebody's edging on hump day, because I'm not. It's fucking raining over here in New York City, and I'm not going to somebody's place like a wet cat. Okay? Oh, we're gonna support you if you like it or not. Ready? Oh, shit. Ah! No, I'm stuck in a corner. No, get me out of this. And we're back. Right, this spot is really good. You can make it do different what is the word I'm looking for? Different inspiration. So there's like the one I'm using is sci-fi, but there's like Western, there's noir, there's I don't know, there's a whole bunch of different options for how they will talk, or how they'll word what they're saying. And they actually are pretty good, because I've seen them. They'll talk about the game you're playing, they'll talk about other games you've played. They'll use words that are used in a chat. It's really interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that, Michael. I'm working on having better clips. And you want to know why that is? That is because of Pearl Tease. Because let me tell you, she was giving me some trouble. Okay? I don't know what it was, but every time she would give me a shout out, it would put the worst clip up. And I'm just like, what is this clip? Like, where is your bot even finding this clip? Yeah. But in general, I need to be better with my my clips. If you pick up the paper airplane from the floor and fly it out the window, oh, I get an achievement. Perfect. Because when I make clips, let's grab it like this. Wait. Hold on. Wow. Wow, my bot just like is having a meltdown right now. Thank you for all of those words, bots. Um, Fly it out the window. Okay. Oh no. Oh, let's throw you. Oh no. Let's see if I leave the room. Well, I think the bigger problem is where. Oh, there we go. I was like, where is the actual airplane? And I totally did not see where it went now. Did it just go all the way out the door? No. Is it gonna reset itself? Oh. I love that for myself. Where did the airplane go? I go behind the door. Holy fuck. Yeah, those bunk beds are, they're literally a safety hazard. I could only imagine whatever that thing is sitting at the top. Um, wow. Maybe let me turn this light back on. See if I can turn it back on. Because I cannot tell where the fuck the thing is. Oh my god, where the fuck is the airplane? Okay, I just literally threw it this way. Where else could it have gone? Did I just... Wait, is that it? Oh. No, pick it up and let's get this shit done because I don't know what you're doing. Wow. Wow. Fuck. Oh, the window I climbed into. Okay, because I'm like, what is happening right now? How do I get that now? That's a problem. Let me get up there. Oh, I think she's stuck up there. Fuck my life. Nope, don't touch the door. Let's walk out for a second. Please reset. I have a feeling you did not reset. Let me out. I mean, let me in. Nope, I still see you up there. Oh man, can I? No. Nope. Oh wait, are you trying to help me right now? That doll back there is so fucking creepy. Can I do that? No. Oh, what did you just do? No. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to come back and do that another time. I should probably be able to do it in a chapter selection, because I think that, unfortunately, that plane is stuck on that fucking bed. And I only got... Oh, can we resurf in the checkpoint? Let's see. Holy shit, did it! That scared the shit out of me. Okay, let's get this done so we can do what we need to do. Okay, let's go back to the window we climbed in. Dude, we're not playing blocks right now. See, my thing is, like, who would even think to do this? Really? Maybe I need to be closer. Okay. Wow. I need to actually go check. Maybe there's something over there that I can bring over to do that, to be closer. Hold on, let's see. Maybe I need to turn.
Anyway, I'm sure that
Oh,
one day someone will give you a name.
Your name is Face. You face blam. Face blam. Face blam, bitches. Da 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 da. Bitch blam.
oh my god. I love bitch pudding so much. If you haven't watched any of those videos, it's like the best thing ever. She's like my spirit animal. There we go. Okay, now there has to be a reason. Why is it this late? I didn't even check this other door. Oh yeah, let's do the... Wow, that's a creepy image. Hey, why? No. Let's turn this light back on because I can't see shit. No. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to do something with the picture? No. do I have any plans for this weekend? I do actually, because I did not do anything for my birthday yesterday. I am going to meet a bunch of other streamers that I have not met. Oh, brain cells, it's working. That I haven't met in person at all. But they actually helped me get to this point of becoming an affiliate. So I'm gonna meet them. So, Poppy Oddly, Shady Shy. I want to say Ivy Molina. Maybe Drifty. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're calling it Shady Con. Their birthday is on the 21st, I want to say. So, yeah. It's going to be a long weekend. I have not been out in many a year. Because the New York scene is just kind of dead. Can I pull this? Oh. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. Hopefully I can... Let's look around, because this looks like it has two things. No. Okay. Hopefully I can hang. Because those people are a lot younger than me. Okay. Because they want to go to a club. They want to do some record shopping. They want to do brunch. They want to do a whole bunch of things. Have you ever seen that old movie Home Alone? The one with Macaulay Culkin? If so, what is this? I think so. I wouldn't even know. I'm one of those... I want to say I'm like one of those people that does not... either I don't remember or I don't see like the classic movies. I'm not like a person that like ever sees those like Oscar award winning movies. I'm just like, I don't know. I just never get into it. But I probably saw it, but I don't remember it. I'm 38 and the only club I go to is Club Mimi's sleeping. I actually just turned 40. So yeah, I'm in my like midlife crisis stage. Oh, there we go. I was like, where am I supposed to go? Ooh, that scared the shit out of me. I feel like it. I should make touchiness. Yes. Pull. Help me pull. Flirty 40s. I don't know. I think the only thing I'm flirting with is a nap. Like right now, what I'm doing right now, should not be doing this. I have to be up in 6 hours. And I can't even, ooh. No. Not me thinking that was an oxygen tank. Oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, this is creepy. Are you on the East Coast? It's 11 a.m. over here in California. Yes, I am on the East Coast. I'm in, oh, it's 11 p.m. Yes, I'm in NYC. So it is about to hit 2 p.m. over here. And I really should be going to sleep soon, which I will be. Because oops. Okay. Because I'm not going to be able to take a nap during my lunch like I usually do. Ooh, what is happening? He is a puzzle. Oh, wait. There's another person here. Because I'm not going to get to take a nap because I need to try to go get a haircut. As you don't want to see what's under this. I gotta cut whatever hair I have left. Okay, usually I do not run into these types of situations. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go that way, but I want to check over here because... Dude, what the fuck?